Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here, your commentator, alongside me, TK, who is going to be rounding off the season with me.
Down the inside,
absolutely possible scene.
This is for the win between these two.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
He needs to get it done now.
Blakey will dive to the inside.
We're robust. We've got our elbows out.
Ronard takes the lead.
Because here comes Alfie Butcher.
Can't really complain with that one.
It's not going to be easy. The pressure is on, of course.
Yarda Watmere is your champion.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to PSGL Season 41. And you are here in F5 with myself, Alex Bagnall. And introduce yourself.
Logan Edwards.
Booyah. And first race, Melbourne. Let's have it. What's your thoughts, Logan?
I'm actually very excited. We've got a good grid, and what better way to start the season than go to the land down under to Melbourne Albert Park. Very good, very high speed track, very technical. So it's going to really show us who's the best out of this grid.
Absolutely. It's a stacked grid in F5. It's going to be an interesting one. We've got a few newcomers and obviously some familiar faces for yourself. But yeah, it should definitely be throwing straight into the deep end as we head to Australia. And overall, should see some, hopefully, nice overtaking moves. Probably most certainly a DRS train, depending on if it does rain. Could rain, it is Australia. But you never know. Predictions are out there for anyone to have. It is round one, and season can be made or slayed. But you've got time to change it throughout the season. And it's just a starting point and a stepping stone till the end. But yeah, it should be an interesting one. I'm excited to get into the lobby and get going. But yeah, we are just getting people into the lobby now. So yeah, let's get going for a fantastic season, shall we?
Absolutely. And this grid is looking very, very spicy now. Of last season, in season 41, there was about 16 tiers in the PSGL, but now there's about 12, if I'm not mistaken. And so that means a lot of the drivers from PSGL F5, F7, F6 have all kind of came into one for the season. So you've got the likes of Tom97, Lorenz Patton, Formula Kai, Tubi, Oscar Villacampo, Ryan Jacobs, Gabriela Matzo, Spezzi, Maxime Belmond. All of those guys are all in this tier, much more as well. So it's going to be very competitive. It's going to be probably one of the best tiers for this season, and I'm very much excited. I hope you are as well, Alex. What better way to start it than go to Melbourne?
Yeah, absolutely over the moon. Let's get going for the season. But yeah, like I said, it should be a good grid, and hopefully you guys can make it the most viewed. I think at this time, at this slot, it's us versus F3, and I think we should win this season, personally. We've got some decent names in here, so yeah, let's have a good one. Let's have a good chat as well. Make sure you're active in there. Make sure you're letting us know what you're thinking and who you're spotting in the chat. So just, yeah, don't be afraid to pop in a message. But qualifying should be interesting. Are we expected a bit? I've just got a feeling. I've got a rain feeling. I don't know why. I just have.
I can feel it as well. My rain, sensors are going off. It would mean for a really interesting race, because I know there's some rain merchants in here, so it'll be a very, very interesting. It is a wet qualifying, or even a wet race, or even better, changing conditions. They always make races go from good to amazing.
I personally like to see a qualifying when it starts quite wet and fades into the dry. I think it's always good if we start on the inters and near the end of qualifying, people on him and ahhing whether to go on softs or not. I like that bit of spice. I've seen it a few times at Australia as well, so I like one of them personally. Yeah, spice things up.
Really, really does mix up the order, because you never know. If you get the wrong timing, you're going to be all the way down towards that back five, which is never where you want to be, in my opinion. Yeah, I think something that we should do is maybe go through the teammate order, because there are a few good names and a few good matchups with the teammates. So, I mean, let's go starting off with the McLaren. You have Lucas and Maxime Belmond in the Papaya McLaren. A very interesting combo. Two names I'm unfamiliar with, but, I will love to come and know them over the course of the season. In Scuderia Ferrari, we have Abdullah and Oscar King. Oscar King is filling in for David Martinez, as he won't be able to come to the race. In Red Bull, you have Alexander Kraft and Silly Sly Guy, which is also known as Kieran Humphrey. And in the Mercedes AMG Petronas team, you have Oscar Villacampa and Spezzy being won for the title in F7 last season, I believe. So he's going to be one to have an eye out for. Very fast driver. Obviously, same with Oscar Villacampa. Now, in Aston Martin, you have Machu and Kryzik. Kryzik also being from F7. Now, a lot of these guys I know from F7, or I know from different leagues, and Machu is not one I know, but, again, would love to come and see him over the course of the season. I believe, Alex, you have commentated for Machu in the past? Am I mixing that up?
I've seen him before.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen him before. I've definitely had... Who have I had in here? I've had Tahubi before. I've seen Lawrence Patton. Daniel Hope, AZR, Lucas Serra, Ryan Jacobs definitely before.
Yeah.
Obviously Tom 97. And yeah, there's a few more in there. There's definitely a few more in there. Then who was missing? There's one missing. Abdullah Bulak, who I'm now actually... Yeah. I've commentated him for a long time. His name's actually not pronounced like that, and I feel really awful. Which is Abdullah Boulash or Boulash.
Yeah.
I think it's Boulash.
And
yeah.
In the Alpine, we got Lucas Serrera and Lumi. And in MoneyGram Haas, you have a mighty combo of Tom 97 and Ryan Jacobs. Very mighty combo. Two British fellas. And I bet those guys are not only going to go for the drivers title, but also the constructors. Very strong lineup. And, I mean, saw Tom 97 last season almost won PSGL F7. Which, you know, obviously Brazil was not the best race for him, but he did, you know, win two. So he's back to his winning ways, which is really nice to see. In Visa Cash App RB, it's Molly Mo and Formula Kai. Molly Mo is filling in for the one and only Will Gibson. And then you have in the Williams, Gabriella Amato and Giovanni. I'm not going to try to pronounce that last name because I know I'll get it wrong and I don't want to get any drivers angry. And then finally, in the Kick Sauber, you have Tech Tubi and Lorenz Patton. So quite strong lineups all throughout the order. And there's going to be quite a few teams going for that Constructors.
Yeah, absolutely. We have just... I feel like as the season goes along, we'll get better at pronouncing names, but it's always round one. It's like a rookie stage for not just the drivers, but for the commentators. This is just to get warmed in. But yeah, it's good to see. I feel like it's really good to see as well, the combination of tiers we've got going on here, because that's what's going to make it a bit spicy. So yeah, it's going to be interesting who can try and come out on top. But as a whole, it's looking strong, and... I'm raring to go for it, and I'm raring to try and learn some particularly difficult names for my very, very thick West Yorkshire accent.
Yeah, well, got a question for not only the chat, but for you, Alex. Who do you think is going to top the tables in today's qualifying?
Oof.
It's a really hard question, isn't it?
It is an hard question, to be honest. Let me just have a look who I recognise in here. Big up AZR. I know I know a few of them guys from there, so I hope Daniel Hope does well. But having a look around, I think Matthew will do quite well for VNT. And maybe Ryan Jacobs. I don't know. I actually don't know. A lot of these are still new to me. I know Tahubi for Future Racing Team, he's quite quick. So I'd like to think he's going to do well. But because it's such a combination of tiers, I don't really know who's going to come out on top until we get going. So it's hard to predict, to be honest.
I mean, another thing these drivers got to work out for is Australia is known for its tricky track limits, especially in turn 6 and the 9-10 chicane. So there's a lot of places where you can sort of muck up. So, I mean, I can really mess up a driver. I mean, I've done it many times, 2 temps improvements, and then I've bottled it because I've gone too much over the limit. So that can really, really mix the qualifying up. Probably give out a lot of penalties during the race.
Yeah, that's another thing to mention about Australia as well. It is quite a difficult one in track limits. You've got a lot of corners. You can throw off turn 11. Then turn 1 and 2, if you throw yourself out a bit too much, you can easily catch track limits there. Turn 6 and turn 7. There's a lot of fast speed corners where it just throws you off the edge of the track. Track limits can be quite difficult, so if you do push your luck or it is wet conditions and you're just trying to get to grips, it can be tricky in qualifying as well. So yeah, I think track limits is definitely something to look out for this circuit, and you just want to keep it clean throughout the race.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, dirty air around here is going to be quite substantial. I mean, obviously, with this game's increase from previous titles, it's, you know, these drivers have now a full season. They've gotten used to it. They've been able to sort of adapt their skills around it. But I would still say, you know, there'll be a few people that will get a little thrown off by it, especially going through that really high end speed of Sector 1, you know, turns 4 towards turns 6, 7, 8. It's going to be very difficult on the tyres, and you know, I think there is a possibility, depending on sort of what happens, you may see some drivers try and attempt that double stop. I mean, it's not the favourable strategy, but it is a possible one for drivers to do.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen as well. If there is a safety car, it could throw something in the mix, and that's what we've got to keep in mind. But yeah, key overtaking zones, I'll have a quick run through them. Obviously, turn 1, you got a DRS zone down to turn 1 and 2, but then obviously you got another dose of DRS down to turn number 3. Then you wait until the end of sector 1, then you go back onto the bit of a curvy straight down from turn 8. DRS all the way down to turn 9. You'll see a lot of moves down there into the fast left-right of turn 9 and turn number 10. Then another DRS zone down to turn number 11, which is another heavy braking zone. So 4 DRS zones, and it's going to get spicy. Let's have a look in the chat as well. Ethan, one of the AZR guys, Alex Bagnall, wow, give us a wave. I know, Ethan, mate. I hope you're absolutely fantastic and having a fantastic evening. Let's have some racing. And I hope your man, Daniel Hope, does well tonight.
Oh, love that. And yeah, to be honest, I think we're still waiting for about 1 to 2 drivers, because it says there's only about 19 people in the lobby. So, of course, there's a little bit of a dilly-dally. Well, wait, I think what we should do is go towards the track map and, you know, talk about that for a little bit. So, Australia, it's a lovely track. It is about, if I'm right, 3.7 miles long, 14 corners. Yeah, there you go, 3.2 miles long, 14 corners, 4 DRS zones. So, you know, DRS training is going to be quite of a common theme through it. You've got the fast sector 1 of turns 1 towards turns 8. That really long sort of curvy corner, that new section in Sector 2, going towards that high speed of turns 9 and 10. You've got obviously Sector 3, which is more slower, but meaning we can see a lot more overtaking towards turns 11 and obviously turns 13. Exit of turn 14 is going to be vital to get a good run going for that turns sort of 1-2 sort of overtake maneuver.
Yeah, there's many places where you could possibly go for a move, and there's places as well, if you go into turn 11, you're still side by side, the battle could easily last until turn 13, and it just spices it up a bit when the track does tighten up. But as a whole, the track map is an interesting one. Obviously, 5.3 kilometers, like you said. Average speed of around 244 kilometers per hour, 153 miles per hour, with a top speed of 340 kilometers per hour with that DRS. Relatively high tyre wear around here. In sector 1, obviously, you've got the key overtaking zone. Wide entry plus DRS at turn number 1 and turn number 2. Into 3 and 4, medium speed combo section, and then a second chance to pass. Then into sector 2, you've got obviously turn 6 to turn 8, high speed, reprofile for 2022. But yeah, fastest corners at turn number 9 and turn number 10, nearly flat out, and if not they are. I can't remember, I haven't drove it in a while, but it's very close if it isn't. But yeah, the 90-degree corners in the final sector of turn 11, turn 12, and flies you into the final hairpin, and the final corner at turn number 14, which does get you relatively close to the wall, and I don't believe it, it is raining qualifying.
Yeah,
I am literally a psychic.
You predicted it. It is going to be a wet one, guys. Get your brolly out, get the welly boots on, because it's raining in Melbourne. Oh my, I don't know if I should be shocked or not, but this is going to be very interesting. But luckily, in PSGL, parc fermé's off, so drivers, if it is a dry race, these drivers don't have to worry about that, that setup sort of configuration from quali to race.
Yeah, that will be very, very strong for some drivers here. Very important in this qualifying session. Now, what I'm hoping is this is going to be a wet to dry, but it looks absolutely horrendous out there. Looks like I'm in Amazon rainforest and it is absolutely chucking it down, or some sort of, I don't know, a tsunami just hit track because look how greasy it is. And, oh, Tahubi's out there on Kick Sauber's spinning race. And oh, I'll tell you what, this is going to get spicy. And this track is not going to dry till the end of qualifying. There's no way it's going to ramp up that quickly. It's still chucking it down. It might even be, I mean, it's probably borderline wets, to be honest, because just look how greasy that circuit is. I mean, it's going to take a while for the dry line to come in, but that's what's going to spice this qualifying up. As soon as it does start to ramp up, you've got to be right tyres, right time, and yeah, this could be anyone's game.
Oh, absolutely. And, I mean, I don't even think there's a dry line out here. So, the possibilities of wets for your first lap could be a choice. I mean, let's just have a quick look. Yeah, no, everyone's on the intermediate compound tyre. So, no one's going for that wet gamble. I mean, it could give a little bit of a grip advantage, as I definitely don't see a dry line anywhere, but Tektubi is in that Sector 3 area, so he'll be the man who starts off this qualifying session. And, I mean, Alex, go away with it.
Yeah, let's see what the Kick Sauber can do. We're going to fly down to turn number 1 and across the line for the first lap. Not just on the day, but in Season 41 of PSGL and here in F5. Heavy on the brakes and throwing the car in is really on the edge of grip, but it looked quite neat and took through turn number 1 and turn number 2 as we head full throttle down at turn number 3. And once again, down a gear and throwing the car in, just trying to get any sort of grip that there possibly is out on the track, which is barely any, but Tubi just playing it safe so far. Don't want to push too hard, and that could be qualifying over. Really brushed up, pretty much against the wall. I think he did tap the wall there at turn number 5, but as we fly into turn number 6, over both curbs on the inside and on the exit, keeps it within the track limits, which is the most important part of them corners. And we're going to fly all the way down to turn 9 and turn number 10. And on the edge of grip, Tahubi is really trying to push this one as we fly past 50-meter board. He's going to go down 2 gears and head over both curves. Pretty nice. Tahubi's running pretty well on this lap, to be honest. And saying it's wet conditions, he made a big mistake on his out lap with the colder tyres, but he's looking like he's getting to grips with these wet conditions pretty well, and he's flew nicely over the curve on the inside of turn number 11. And he looks pretty comfortable in these wet conditions. So, I say that. Oh, he's had a big snap on the exit of turn number 12 and went slightly deep into turn number 13. And that's going to shorten his line round the final corner. But still, foot flat to the floor and to a line 2 before the first lap of the day of qualifying here at Melbourne. Tubi's going to do a 1 minute 28.011. And didn't look too bad. And yeah, he's still going to get to grips with these wet conditions. But overall, pretty smooth lap. A few little mistakes every now and again, but you're going to expect that on your first lap of the day.
Yeah, and Formula Kai not really committing to that first lap as he's just came into the pit. But, I mean, let's look at Lorenz Patton. No, he's on his out lap, so who's behind him? I actually do believe it is Molimo. Oh, all these colours is really, really, like, confusing for my little brain. But, I mean, let's just stay on board with the V-Carb driver coming through that 910 chicane. All high speed and a little bit of a wobble there. Max Bellman, that just behind by, well, I say just behind, 8 tenths is a whopping gap between Tektubi. So even with a little bit of wobble, because I think everyone's starting to struggle here. A little bit of a rear end kick from the Kick Sauber. Not Kick Sauber, I mean V-Carb. Who's now as Spezzy tops the tables, provisional pole. No, it's Oscar King who goes up to the top. What can Molyneux do? As Tom 97 just slots in between Tektubi and Spezzy for that P3 provisional spot. But what can Molyneux do? It's only going to be good enough for that provisional P5 spot.
Yeah, everyone's just getting rubbered in, and obviously you can tell, I think Tubi's just like the median time at the moment in P4, but Oscar King, fantastic opening lap of his qualifying session with 1 minute 7.0, only guy in the 7s, in the 7-0s that is, and 5 tenths ahead of Spezzy, and Tom 97, 8 tenths back from him, then Tubi sat on a 28.0, a second back in P4. Yeah, we just need to get rubbered into qualifying, and then it'll close up, I'm sure, during the end. The rain's still falling relatively hard here at Australia, but the track should definitely ramp up, and hopefully it doesn't rain harder, because then that will just give us a boring end of 12 minutes. It will just be the first laps of the day which count. But yeah, still got a few drivers coming across the line now. I'm pretty sure it's the Red Bull next across the line of Silly Sly Guy. as he's going into sector 1 now. He's actually starting his lap. And yeah, it's very confusing with all colours, but I think Speedy's going to be next cross line. Let's see what Speedy can do. Currently not set a lap time, and now first lap time a 29.7, so we've seen many mistakes on that one, and is way behind down in P10. But yeah, still a lot of drivers getting the first laps in, and I wouldn't be surprised if saw some drivers do back-to-back runs and fuel up for a longer game in this one just to try and get rubbed into qualifying. But yeah, still not really any dry line out there, to be honest. It is absolutely chucking it down, but I'm sure it'll ramp up during qualifying.
Yeah, of course, and Oscar Villarcampa now coming round the final corner to finish his first lap. What will he be able to do in comparison of this top 10? As towards the line now, is it going to be near the top? It's going to be P6 with a 28.3. Not a bad lap there. But Giovanni yet slotting in between that P2 and Tech Tubi to that provisional pole spot with a 26.8. Lap times are increasing by the minute as Alexander Croft goes up to that P3 spot just behind Oscar King. Yeah,
I think it was right what Tubi did. I think he fueled up for 2 laps and went back to back, and not back to back. He probably had a fast lap, slow lap, fast lap just to charge up the battery, but I think it's the right thing to do when you're on track and getting rubbed in. And yeah, Tubi did look quite confident on his first lap, so I think that second lap he did there just nip and tuck, gained a few on his last improvements as yeah, I think a few drivers will probably do the same run plan as we still get rubbed into qualifying. But at the moment, Tubi on a 26.8. Speedy is going again as he needs to go in again at this stage, as I think Alexander Crawford just popped up to P4 there, or it might have been Lucas SL who's just popped up into P3 with 27.1.
Yeah, and I think Formula Kite coming towards the end of his lap. Yeah, provisional purple sector 2 there, so could Formula Kite maybe top the tower as he enters the sector 3. He's got a Red Bull in front of him. And Mollymoo goes up towards that top area with a 26.795. And I mean, Kryzik as well, slowing into that P8. So a lot of people are sort of finding their rhythm, you could say, as low 27s, high 26s are sort of coming into play as round the final corner. Formula Kai will come and put to the floor, burn that battery. No DRS flap open, though. And what will the lap time be? It's only going to be P11. Just in front of top 97.
Yeah, I mean, it's close. Obviously, it was his first full flying lap. I don't know if he invalidated his first run, and that's why. But yeah, he's got to start somewhere. And theoretically, he's a second off the pace at the moment as Ryan Jacobs puts in a 26.7 and just beats Mollymoo at the top of the times. And he's definitely closing up at this phase of qualifying. We're just under halfway through in this phase. But yeah, good lap from Ryan Jacobs. As Lucas Serra still not set a lap time. Daniel Hope still in the pit lane. He needs to get out there. Michu de Jesus is still on his outlap as well. So yeah, that's keeping an eye on them guys. Is still yet to set a lap time. But Ryan Jacobs is actually going again out there. So he's going back-to-back runs. Obviously, don't burn as much batteries. Actually, just overstepped his mark and went over track limits. Was improving by 100th in that first sector. Mollymood's coming to the pit lane. And yeah, still definitely a few drivers out there going back-to-back. But I'm pretty sure a few drivers having some issues as well. But yeah, at this phase, 8 minutes to go. Everyone's still getting rubbered in. And I mean, it's going to start to ramp up in the final 5 minutes. Yeah, no, of course. As I'm seeing, like you said, a lot of drivers going for these second runs. There's Tom 96 with 97. I mean, almost a whole second improvement in one sector. So he's absolutely cooking. And right now, it seems like he can maybe sort of aim for that top 5 with Alexander Craft, just topping the tyre by 5/10. So clearly, the track is sort of drying up here as a second improvement in that sector 2 from Tom 97. He's absolutely flying right now. One sector to go with Lorenz Patton. Yeah, definitely dry line coming in, and don't think we'll see softs. I think it's a bit too early to say, oh yeah, definitely time for softs, but I mean, could we maybe see DRS enabled in the next 7 minutes? Possibly, as around the final corner, Tom 97 will come.
And what will the lap time be? He did get purple in that middle sector. Could this be maybe a mid-25 to beat out Oscar King? No, but it will be good enough for that P3. So both Hasses here are in that top 5, which is really, really nice to see. And I think let's look at Lucas Herrera as down towards the final area he is. He's starting his lap here, and let's hope he doesn't invalidate, as he is one of 2 drivers. Him and his teammate are yet to set a lap in this qualifying session. And it's not like they haven't tried. I mean, Lucas Herrera here has been invalidating lap after lap. So, coming towards that turn 4-5 area now. Really on the limit, as he's finding a lot of grip, though, because I'm not seeing much sliding around on this Alpine. 30.1 in that first sector, that could be a quite good split. I mean, it's quite difficult to know because you normally don't do wet quali practice. There's a lot of drivers improving in the order. Formula Kai up to that P6, Matthew up to P5. So definitely everyone finding their rhythm. The track is drying up, and Lucas Herrera looking quite strong as he comes towards the end of his lap.
Yeah, the rain's definitely slowing down, but I don't think it'll be slow enough by the end to go on to dries, for example. But yeah, the dry line is definitely forming. You can see it out on the track at the minute. Lucas Herrera, oh, he's went a bit too deep, though, into turn 13 there, and into turn 12, and on the route to turn number 13, sorry. But yeah, toe stepped his mark. Luckily, did keep it within the track limits, but let's see what he does across the line. Needs a lap time in just for that delta time, to be honest, but 5 minutes to go. Puts you to P9 with that mistake. He's definitely got a lot more in it. So yeah, Lucas Herrera needs to try and go again and push as hard as he can. Tahubi goes to the top of the times with 25.5 and onto provisional pole by 0.2 of a second. But it's going to have to be right place, right time. You've got to be out on track as late as you possibly can if you want to try and gain the best possible scenario to gain pole position today. As I think Speedy just went off the track. A few drivers invalidating so far and struggling with track limits. And yeah, a few drivers going for that double back-to-back run plan type scenario. Tom 97 is improving by 0.2 in that first sector alone. He's going again. And so is the likes of Oscar King. Tahubi's not on a lap, but Oscar King is actually further up the road and improving by 0.4 of a second. This could be a mega lap, and I reckon we'll be in the 24s maybe by the end of qualifying, because the track is ramping up, people are getting more confident, and the likes of Oscar King is absolutely flooding around turn number 11 on the exit perfectly. He's throwing it in to hit the curbs. He's getting so confident with the car, and Oscar King is going to head around the final corner and head to the line. It's surely going to be a provisional pole, but just by how much. He's catched the rear very nicely. Oscar King in the fray, dancing in the prancing horse, and he puts it in a 24.8. Magnificent stuff from Oscar King. It looked fantastic. It looked planted in the final few sectors there, and he's actually took provisional pole by just under 0.8 of a second. Magnificent.
Yeah, massive there as Tom 97 just slots in behind 0.5. Quite a big marginal gap, but with, I think, just enough time to, you know, get your one more, maybe 2 more runs in. I think Tom 97 can maybe sort of go and compete a little bit close towards Oscar King there. Daniel Hope improving, getting his first lap in, and provisional P4, not too shabby, but like you were saying, a lot of these drivers are going to have to really gamble of when's the right time to come out of the pits to be the man at the very back. Obviously, you can't leave it too late, as you may be held up too much and you miss the you know, the start, the rest of quali, I mean. But if you go too early, you may improve, but you won't improve as the others behind. So you can see about 75% of drivers are still in that pit lane area.
Yeah, they absolutely are. It's just going to have to be gambling and risking getting out on track. And maybe it's coming out now and fueling up that little bit more. Or maybe some drivers out there on track have fueled in that little bit more so they can stay out right until the end. Max Bellmond is improving by just under a second in the first 2 sectors. Definitely needs it. He's on a 27.5 only. And needs to at least get into the 26s and look towards the 25s, low 25s, if he wants to try and get himself up there in the top 10. But this track is ramping up. We've improved by more than 4 to 5 seconds already in this session alone, just due to the track evolving. And the rain has not gone away. It's barely even slowed down, but obviously this amount of cars running on this track has made it evolve and create that dry line. At the start, it was a slippery, shiny surface. And here we go with Max Bellman across the line. What can he do? Into P5, a good improvement, but a 25.6. And yeah, he's definitely going to have to go again. 2 minutes 26 on the clock. And in this position, you want to be fueled up for 2 laps if you can, just in case you do invalidate that first run. You can go again, and that's if you do start a lap now. But still, a lot of drivers in the pit lane. I'd like to form the Kai, Ryan Jacobs, and Molyneux are just coming out and on their out lap. So I'll have to see how they get along. But yeah, final 2 minutes. Who's going to take it? I mean, who knows? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with this sort of condition where it's slowly starting to dry up as we, you know, get towards the end of this qualifying, it's anyone's game. As I think Lucas SL here is, he's not boxed, so he's gone for another lap, but he's just letting everyone through. So I don't know what his game plan here. Right now, P8, but could massively drop down the order by any times. And a lot of drivers, everyone apart from Daniel Hope, on the outlap or on track. So, and Tom 97 is still in the pit, but he's going to be coming out very, very shortly. So, this end to the qualifying is going to be one for the probably this season history books. As I mean, round 1 always the most competitive, and this qualifying session is going to be very, very competitive with this changing conditions. It's all about maximizing the track, maximizing that ERS, and also finding the grip wherever you possibly can. There is a dry line, but obviously sometimes you may go a little bit too deep into a corner or a little bit too tight. So these drivers are going to have to show us who's the best in these sort of conditions. Yeah, you've got to be so confident now. If you're going on the final lap, you want to risk it. If you want to try and take provisional pole, you want to write that statement of intent to start the season off on a high. But anything can happen. These are the final runs in qualifying. We've got a huge gaggle of cars in that final sector ready to go. And there's absolute cars everywhere. The traffic's building up, and hopefully don't invalidate and block anyone else, because that could get interesting in the stewards room. But you can see him queuing up at the final penultimate corner as his driver's just trying to get through. It's absolute chaos trying to organise that pack on their route laps. But we are getting underway for these final runs. And, I mean, Logan, do you want to take us through whoever you're spectating, because his car's everywhere? We are on board with Max Bellman. He's got that provisional purple in Sector 1. He's not gambled and trying to stay out as long as possible. He's been the first man out. So, you see, Tom 97 and Kryzik both not able to set another lap. But Max Bellman, I think he's timed this quite amazingly. He's got no dirty air, no traffic whatsoever. He can go foot to the floor for his final lap. So, into Sector 3 now, the final about 3 corners, and I did not see that Sector 2 split, but he is ramping up the time. Right now, provisionally P6, but looking like he can massively improve. He's not far behind Kryzik. He's only 3 times behind Tom 97, so round the final corner, Max Bellman comes, and he sees the checkered flag waving to end the qualifying session. What lap time can he complete? It's gonna be good enough for that P2 area, so not too shabby from Max. Yes, oh, there's Molyneux pops it up into 24s, onto that provisional front row. Gabriel Amato cannot improve and stays in P4. We've still got a few drivers coming around the final corner. Crazy, he's not going to set a lap time as well. So wasn't able to get to the line. Matthew in the Aston Martin puts it up into P9. Lucas SL puts it up into P6. Tahubi's going to be next cross line. Ryan Jacobs into P5. Tahubi only into P3. Oscar King is looking safe at the top spot so far, but I think he's still on lap time. Alexander Kraft puts it out the top by 3.5 tenths of a second. Fantastic from himself. Can anybody else beat him to the line? Oscar King, he's all that time towards the line. He cannot improve, and I'm pretty sure that an enthralling end to qualifying is over, and it's Alexander Kraft who takes pole position for the first round of F5. And I mean, wow, magnificent lap right at the death of qualifying, and it's Kraft who gains pole position here in Melbourne. Yeah, no, absolutely. And what a qualifying session that was. Oscar King being near the top for that whole entire qualifying session, being dethroned by Alexander Kraft, all because of those changing conditions. And obviously, he is a rapid driver, but I would say the conditions helped him a slight little bit. Massive improvements from the Tech 2B, Molyneux, and Silly Sly Guy. And a lot of people getting dropped down. Tom 97, you know, was sort of near that top range, that top 5, all the way down in the middle of the pack at P10. And, I mean, a lot of improvements, a lot of people making mistakes there as, I
I believe one of the kicks actually invalidated their lap times and was not able to improve and is now all the way near the bottom end of the order.
Yeah, I think the thing that caught a lot of drives out was the traffic on that outlap. I mean, it was crazy. It was things I've never seen before. It's sunny out on track, guys, though, for the race. That's important. Thank God for that. The sun's out, guns out, we're ready for a race. But I think we need to have a look at as well the fact that it was on provisional pole for so long and he got that lap in early. He must have some good pace because to be on provisional pole for that long and the track to evolve and still not set a better lap time and still come out in P2 is a great effort. So yeah, we definitely have to keep a look on Oscar King because, I mean, that was a magnificent lap time set so early on in qualifying. Alexander Kraft, though, was on track at the right time and obviously right tyres as well. So yeah, he's on pole position and very well earned and to bring it all together at the final part of qualifying. But yeah, Oscar King, I think, is one to watch for today because he seems very confident with the track. But you never know, wet is very different to dry. Anything can happen in the race. The grid is set for the first round. And I mean, Logan, what are we predicting for this race?
I mean, you can't... It's so difficult because, I mean, it would be a little bit easier if it was a dry qualifying. We could have seen people's dry pace. But wet is so different. Your driving style is completely different. The way you're managing that car, it's going to be quite difficult, especially because I don't know all the drivers in this grid. Oscar King is not a familiar name to me, and that his pace, phenomenal. I think he could be the one to look out for here, but, I mean... got the likes of, I mean, to be honest, my brain is just absolutely blank right now, but I would give it to Oscar King. Really good. I mean, Alexander as well could be in both contentions on that front row. Really, I think it's going to come down to the matter of who's leading after lap 1, because, DRS sharing and all of this all comes into play. So, I think it's anyone's game in that top 5 range, but, Australia lap 1 can get very messy because track position is vital. But I would say anything can happen and it's hard to predict.
Yeah, in the chat as well, we've just been informed. Oscar King is the Ferrari esports engineer, and apparently his race pace is very good.
Oh.
So if it's anything like his quali pace, I mean, it could be an absolute show and a statement of intent for the season for Mr. Oscar King. So yeah, it'll be a good start for himself if he can get straight down to turn 1 and take the lead. But in the long run in this race, if he does have strong race pace, it could be on for an absolutely fantastic one. So yeah, keep an eye on Oscar King, and but all eyes on Alexander Kraft as he will be leading us away. And I'm pretty sure strategy says medium hard or hard medium. So I'll have to wait and see there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing we could maybe see, like I mentioned earlier on in the stream, is that double stop. It's not the most favourable, but Australia, there is a quite high degradation. So depending on the type of driving style you have, it could be good. Also, every driver has about 3 sets of softs, because obviously softs were not used in the qualifying. So, if there is a late safety car, it could really mix things up. Not saying there will be a safety car, but you never know. It would be cinema for round 1.
Yeah, I'd love a little cheeky, or maybe a late safety car. That would mix things up.
Yeah, lovely.
Maybe everyone going on softs, massive shootout, like a 5-lap race.
Yeah. Oh, they would. I would be off the chair, shouting all over the place, and be like, "Oh my god!" And I just dropped my chair down. Very, very lovely.
It's Rocky's chair before the race is started. He's gonna have to stand up for a full race. More passion.
Here
we go then. New season. It's season 41 as the engines rise, the tension holds as we wait at lights. As the silence breaks and the battle begins. It's a good start from Alexander Kraft, who's got the jump early on Oscar King as we head down to turn 1. These cars absolutely everywhere fighting for position. Alexander Kraft does take the race lead. Max Bellman in behind is taken P6. He's just overtaken Gabriel Amato. Them guys are fighting all the way down to turn number 3 and turn number 4. Ryan Jacobs going for a move. Max Bellman trying to fight it back around the outside. But cars absolutely everywhere in the opening sector of the race. But a perfect start from Alexander Kraft, who takes the lead, retains the lead, and keeps in the lead, and takes it away from Oscar King.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything has stayed a stalemate in that top 6, but everywhere down has been positions made. Ryan Jacobs up to P7, Tom 97, a position gained, and, Lorenz Patton started all the way dead last, and he's now up to P16. There was a little bit of a hiccup there from Speedy. Started P12 down to P20, as I think I just saw some front wing damage there going off out the 9-10 chicane. You can see in the background there, Daniel Hope going down the inside of Oscar Villacampa, getting the move done. They're going to stay side by side for turn 12 and 13, I believe, but it will be Daniel Hope, who regains, or not regains, but takes P11, and it's going to be Krysic who's going to also try and pounce on, and Spezzy on his own teammate. So that's Oscar Villacampa losing not 1, not 2, but 3 positions in the matter of 2 corners.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, there was cars absolutely everywhere in that final few. This came out absolutely nowhere after that, but majority of the green size, Sarah, Daniel Hope, Krysic, and from the Kai, Ben, Giovanni, Matthew, and Lucas SL all on the hards. But Lawrence Patton and Formula Kai still fighting out on the track for P15 at the moment. And Lawrence Patton just comes out on top. But yeah, Oscar Villacampa has dropped down 5 positions from his race start down to P14 from P9. A horrible opening lap from himself, but out front, Alexander Kraft might just find himself under pressure. Here comes off Oscar King on lap number 2 into turn number 9. Is way ahead of Alexander Kraft, and with that DRS flies through in the Scuderia, and he's taking the race lead on the route down to turn number 9. Let's see what I can do in the bit of fresh air, and if you can try and maybe gap Alexander Kraft. If his race pace is really that good, let's see if we can try and push on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think what we should be talking about is sort of tyres and who's on what. It's not really an even split, but there are quite a few hard runs. You've got Formula Kai, Giovanni, Matthew, and Lucas all down that sort of bottom end on those hard. So they're definitely going to be going long, as you can see. Silly Sly Guy just staying in front of Max Bellman there as we go through turn 1 and 2. And that's Max Bellman actually really deep. And we may even be able to see, yep, side by side is Ryan Jacobs and Max Bellman as we get down towards turn 3. It's going to be Ryan Jacobs who moves up to that P6 spot. So Ryan making those mediums work substantially well.
Yeah, nice job there from Ryan Jacobs, and just picks up the scraps of Max Bellman. But yeah, perfect move and makes his way up to P7. So let's see if anyone can try and make a move on turn 9 and 10. Obviously, we'll have a bit of a stalemate with the DRS, but this might be where we're showing different setups in this race. Who's got better high top speed, who's better through the corners, and in this type of position with the DRS zone, you want that top speed if you want to try and make a move. As Gabriel Masso is pretty close to Max Bellman as well, the fight for P7, but I think everyone at the moment is relatively... Oh, that's an issue there, and that's Krysic in the gravel and off at turn number 10, as there he goes, he's left the session, his car's absolutely disappeared. I don't know where he's gone, but down at the back, I don't know if he had some desync problems, but Krysic must have made a mistake, and yeah, but I don't know what happened to his car there.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, he just went shunting all the way back to the 9-10 chicane. So, very lovely game. Well done, EA. And anyway, back towards this top 10. Tom 97, the man on your screens, he's in between the Alpines, the 2 tractors, and you can see Lucas Herrera getting a beautiful exit of turn 1 and 2, going for a move on Gabriel Amanto, and around the outside he will go, getting the move, sensation done. The outside turns to the inside for turn 4, a little bit of wheel bashing, leaves plenty of space, and that's going to be Lucas Herrera up to that P8 spot.
Yeah, lovely job there from Lucas up into P8. Tom 97 just watching in the distance. He's actually looking to pick up the scraps on Amato up ahead. He's in the slipstream, of course. He's going to open that DRS. He's getting closer and closer as we head down. He's going to flight in. Kink there, and there goes Tom 97 on lap number 4 down to turn number 9 and into P9 for Mr. 97. And yeah, nice job. Let's see if he can try and put his foot down a bit more, maybe try and put pressure on Lucas Serra up ahead and the likes of Max Bellman. But yeah, Tom 97, nice and easy move, picks up the scraps as Amato might be struggling on this lap and in this phase of the race on those medium compound tyres.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say is Lucas Herrera up 3 positions right now. He's absolutely storming. Started P11, up to that P8 spot. I mean, this race is going amazing for him. That track position, as he's on hards, by the way. Lucas Herrera is on hards, and he's outpacing medium runners as Gabriel gets that 3-second time penalty. Not ideal when we're this early on in the race, but doing that well on hards, I mean, in the next 2 to 3 laps, those hards are going to sort of really balance out with the mediums and maybe even become quicker. So keep your eye out for that Alpine because he's going to really stomp this grid.
Yeah, in this phase of the race, so early still, the medium should be still favourable, so absolutely fantastic pace so early. And yeah, could be really in contention in the latter stages of the race, but he's keeping up well, he's doing a really solid job, he's really making a field day out of this. So yeah, he's keeping his tyres in a really nice operating window. Daniel Hope also capitalised on a struggling Williams of Gabriel. And there goes Daniel Hope up into that top 10. But yeah, Gabriel really needs to just phase in and just start just getting some consistent laps in, as that's a huge last 2 laps of where he's made mistakes. He's got overtaken, he's got 3-second time penalties so early doors. I mean, a new track limits might be a problem for some drivers, but you don't want it on lap 5. I mean, that could really open you up, not just for a 3-second, but we're talking 6 or 9 as he's lost the rears at the final 2 corners as well. He's all over the place, is Amato, and he could be under pressure now from Spezzi in the Mercedes, already down to turn 1. I mean, he's really, really struggling.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be the fact of first few laps he was pushing and pushing, and those tyres could be really on that near sort of 25% degradation zone. I mean, this game's tyre wear is massively increased by about 3 or 4 times the amount from the last game. I mean, you could probably do about 20 laps or 18 laps on the hards around here on 24, and now you can only get away with about 15 on the hard, so the mediums are substantially worse, and you can just see there coming out of the 6-7 chicane as Spezzi just gets a way better exit. He's got a really good run, and he's almost alongside as they enter the DRS zone, and they're going to remain side by side, and I think it's just going to be Gabriel who just backs out and lets Spezzi take that position. So Gabriel massively struggling here in this early stages of the race.
Yeah, I think in this phase as well, I'm looking at his rear tyres that they look all over the place, to be honest. It must be setup related, or his tyres are overheating, as he just really seems to be struggling with grip, as Lucas Serra is making a lunge on Max Bellman and does make the place up into the top 7. In the chat as well, I have the previous reigning champion, Jona Martins, as well. Good to see himself rooting for Oscar King in that lead of the race. But heading down to turn number 1, Lucas Serra does make it up to P7 on the harder compounded tyres. And yeah, like I said earlier, hard compounded tyres, I think he's going to come favourable any second now. And he did it so early, the pounce so early, he's got to grips with the tyres so early, and he's making it really, really work in this first phase. So yeah, see where Serra can come out. And let's see if we can try and push on.
Absolutely, and obviously he's behind his fellow TF10 teammate Ryan Jacobs. So I mean, they're on opposite teams, and I think Lucas Serra will probably go for a move very, very shortly. But up towards the front, Oscar King has been leading quite nicely well. He got that move done on around lap 2 or 3, and he's just remained in the lead. So Alexander Kraft, I think he's just sort of chilling behind, recharging, keeping those tyres nice and cool. And then Oscar King do all of the work as Daniel Hope gets a move done on Tom 97. They're Argy and Bargy, they're side by side, coming towards turns 11 and 11, I mean. And it's going to be Tom 97 with the inside line. He's just going to leave enough racing room. This is great racing etiquette. Tom 97 is going to keep the outside line, but Daniel Hope keeping it around the outside, has the inside line for turn 13. A little bit of a rear tap there on Tom 97's Haas, and Tom 97 will prevail and remain in front.
I mean, absolute ding-dong scrap there between the pairing, and the DRS, though, to the pack ahead, and that could be crucial. Yes, the rest of the race, they need to push on in this first sector to get it back on that. Actually, a really good exit out of the first few corners. So yeah, needs to catch up to the back of Max Bellman, but I think it is just showing maybe the bit of extra hard grip at this phase of the race, because obviously Daniel Hope is on the hard compounded tyres and was able to hold it round the outside in some quite peculiar corners there, like turn number 12. So yeah, let's see if we can go fighting once again, but I think this time around Tom 97 might have just closed in enough to Max Bellman to protect him from Daniel Hope. But yeah, you said on the last episode, Oscar King is having a fantastic opening phase. He has got in that race lead, he's controlled it pretty well, and in the first and final sector, that's where his pace lies. That just keeps him that big enough gap that Alexander Kraft cannot get close enough to make a move. And I think at this phase, I think he's happy just to stay there. He can observe and make a decision on what he wants to do in strategy as well. But Tom 97 has slightly dropped out of DRS heading into the final sector, and he's got a bit of free air to clean and push into if he can try and get that DRS back, but he's really struggling in the final sector to try and get under that second. Matthew De Jesus and Lawrence Patton are going side by side into the final corner. It's really close between the Kick Sauber and the Aston Martin, but as we head around the final corner, Matthew with the track position, Lawrence trying to make the move as we head down Turn 1. Spezzi is into the pit lane, and is Lawrence Patton gonna make a move? He's too far back, so he must have made a mistake at the final corner. So it's gonna be Matthew De Jesus who keeps the position in P14 there.
Oh my, look at Lucas SL in P18 or P19 now. He's gone to the soft compound tyre.
Yeah.
The softs are only going to last about 3 or 4 laps around this track, if I'm not mistaken. So, was this a little bit of a fat finger and a little bit of a mistake, or was this actually purposeful? We're just going to have to find out, really, as softs this early on in this race. I mean, the first time I've ever seen, as you can see, Lucas Herrera down the inside of Brian Jacobs. He'll get the move done for P6, and he's really making these hards work for him as... how many positions is he up again? He's up 5, so bow down to Lucas Herrera as of now, as I believe he's going for a 1-stop. So there's been some drivers that have boxed around lap 8, lap 9. Now, I don't know how long the mediums do, the hards last around here, but if you're boxing lap round 8 and 9, I would say you're going for a double stop.
Yeah, I'd say the optimal time will probably be lap 11, lap number 12. Pushing lap number 13, but yeah, we've got a few drivers coming in early. Oscar King, Molyneux is coming in as well on the medium compound tyres, so I reckon they'll probably do lap maybe to the end from here. 19 laps on hards though, double the stint on the medium, so maybe it is going to be more difficult than the thought, and maybe it might be a 2-stop. Lucas SL though, I was thinking, I looked up in the sky and think, is it going to rain soon or something like that? Why has he gone for the softs? But there's no sign of that, so yeah, interesting strategy. So is he predicting everyone's going to do a 2-stop and he's going to go sod it? Let's go on the soft for a few laps. Let's try and push, do a bit of an undercut, then go on to the hards when it's valid, and so they can run to the end, but it might just be a bit closer with tyre wear. So I feel like it's a gamble on whether people are going on to that 2-stop, but we'll have a look and keep an eye on what he does. Let's see what lap times he can post, and let's see how much he can push on, especially heading to that final stint.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tom97 was able to clinch back into that DRS. So he is still in a chance here. But with Oscar King boxing, it's kind of messed up Tech Tubi here as, well, with Molly Moo boxing, I mean. Because the gap between Alexander Kraft and Tech Tubi is 2 seconds almost. Well, 1.7 now. But this is really good for Alexander. He's got a lot of clean air. He's got no one pressuring him from behind. And into the pits he comes... He could have stayed out for one more lap, I reckon, but I mean, I understand why he's boxing in. He doesn't really want to give Oscar King that much of an undercut.
Yeah, I think the undercut does go pretty strong around here, and Oscar King especially has had a lot of free air to push into on his opening lap on this hard stint. So yeah, I think he's going to come flying quite far ahead of these guys who just came into the pit. Now, there goes Oscar King. Alexander Kraft is just behind. And, I mean, it's a bit of a margin. He's going to be out of a second, I think. He's actually nearly pushed Molyneux off the track there. I think he did go into the grass as he comes out just behind Alexander Kraft. But Oscar King came out just under 2 seconds ahead of Alexander Kraft, who still needs to get his tyres up to temperature there as Lucas SL posts fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lucas Herrera taking the lead of the race, obviously with everyone boxing in front of him. But I think, you know, Lucas Herrera has a good chance at winning the race. I mean, made a lot of track position on hards against mediums at the start of the race. I mean, that's something you don't see quite often. So I want to see his pace when he's on fresh mediums. I mean, he's probably going to be stomping this grid very, very soon. And it's just the matter of, I think the question we need to ask is, when is he going to box off of those hards? Because it seems like he's still got very, very good pace.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to fight through the pack, but we've seen him do it before, and I feel like the most important thing for him would be the pack staying in the DRS train. So it's like guys in the pit lane as well, coming off to a new set of hards. They definitely, I think, will run to the end of the race. I think the optimal tyre lap delta for the hards is around 17 laps. So he's pitted on the perfect optimal time, but obviously track position could be key in the final stages. But yeah, Oscar King is currently, let's have a look at the leader time as well from Oscar King to Lucas Herrera. It's actually just under 12 seconds. So obviously he's really pushing on. Oscar King's gaining a lot of time, and those new hards really come into play, and he's actually got a lot of clean air ahead of him. So yeah, King's got Really good pace in this opening stint as Alexander Kraft still just trying and sneak back in that DRS. Is Daniel Hope making a move on Tom 97. These guys have been battling for quite a while, but obviously with the DRS and with Tom 97 out of it, flies through at turn number 9 there.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Tom 97 is just trying to hold on to these hard tyre runners as long as possible and then box. He's going for the ultimate overcut. He's doing a Yano Optimist strategy, trying to get as little amount of laps done on those hards, so he has fresh hards coming near towards the end of that. I mean, cut all of that. He's boxing this lap.
Ooh.
Almost spins it into the wall as well. Lovely, lovely, jubbly. But Tom 97, the final medium runner coming into the pit, says, let's see how good of a stop he can do. Yeah, about 2.4, I reckon. Where will he come out? In the likes of Ryan Jacobs and City Sly Guy and Max Bellman, as that's the area he was in. I think it's sort of going to be about 2 to 3 seconds behind. No, he just comes out behind Max Bellman here. So not too shabby of a strategy here from Tom 97.
Yeah, he's got 2 lap pressure tyres to catch Max Bellman as well. So yeah, he's actually looking pretty solid. And obviously we'll have the track position when the medium guys come into pit. And he actually could be a bit more of an obstacle to the medium guys when they try and fight their way through the pack. Obviously with him having a few less lap on those harder compound tyres, it might be a bit tricky to pass him. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. The hard runners will come in probably about 2 laps earlier than the optimal time, so probably lap 15. Might even see one in lap 14, but I mean, you want to leave as many laps as you can. Well, the shortest amount of laps you can on the medium, so you can push straight from here to the end. So lap 17 would be perfect, really. They have 13 laps on the medium compound tyres with less fuel and the track fully rubbered in for the final stint. Lucas Serra still running out front, Daniel Hope in P2. And then it's Giovanni Galeotto and Formula Kai, then Matthew De Jesus in the top 5. But then Oscar King is fastly approaching these guys. His pace has been absolutely lightning and has been absolutely dragging these guys along. Only 3.4 now behind Matthew De Jesus.
Yeah, and something we missed there is Ryan Jacobs getting elbows out, going side by side with Gabriel Amato through the 910 chicane, getting a sensational move. He is absolutely cooking along these hards, and he goes for a move on Spezzi during the braking zone. That's Ryan Jacobs up towards P10, which is going to be around about a provisional P5.
Yeah, nice one from Jacobs there. And let's see what his pace is like in that bit of clean air. Spezzi, I think, did slightly just let him go there. Spezzi's, I think, on a 2-stop, has pitted about 5 laps ago. It might be a struggle to get to the end from here. Gabriel Amato pitted 6 laps ago. So yeah, see what Gabriel's strategy is. But at the moment, Tom 97 and Max Bellman swapping positions. Tom 97 flies through into turn number 9 and turn number 10. And his tyre life already making a big impact on the 3 drivers ahead of him and closing that time already to Amato. And we'll close that probably just before the straight on the next lap. So yeah, 2.1 seconds and a 5-lap tyre differentiation there between the pairing. And Tom 97 should really close up and make the move early next lap.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think maybe this lap he could do at 1.4. It's dropping as well. I think Tom 97 has quite low wings. I mean, he's gaining a substantial amount on all the straights here. Really, really catching Gabriel Amato, and he's got to do it quick because Gabriel is on the cusp of getting knocked out of that DRS range as Tom 97 really, really cooking already within that DRS range in the matter of 3 corners. Love to see it from the Haas driver.
Yeah, absolutely. It's under a second. He's going to be flying down the back straight with those lower wings. Seems you do want lower wings in these races. I think it's what people try and go for, especially when the DRS trains come about. And in this position here, it was 6 tenths back before entering the straight. Look how much he's closing before the DRS is even open. Now it's open. Now we're flying down to the chicane, and he's just staying behind. But I think he'll get a double dose DRS, of course. Down to turn number 11, and he'll have the extra bit of grip heading into the braking zone. DRS, slipstream, and flying outside line. Doesn't have to go offline. And nice move from Tom 97 up into P13, and he's really making progress on this mid-stint, well, on this final stint, it would seem, as he made those first stint mediums last quite a margin, and he's only on 2-lap-old hards at this phase.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, getting Gabriel Amato in between him and Max. That's very good. because he can just get rid of Max Bellman here and just start pushing and pushing and try get within Silly Sly Guy's DRS there is looking towards the front. Lucas Herrera still out leading the way. Daniel Hope, the two Alpine drivers sort of just working together here. They're leading the way quite nicely with a 3-second gap with Giovanni in behind. And Oscar King, he's now within the top, well, I say within the top 5. He's sort of with Matthew Formulakai and Giovanni here. So, Oscar King massively cut that gap down. But we're going to have a really nice fight on our hands in the next few laps.
Yeah, we absolutely are. Now it's going to be a lot harder for the hard runners to close back in when they do opt for the medium compound tyres, as we just see Formulakai make a move on Giovanni Galiotto there. But yeah, they're going to have to make pretty much a full pit stop, as Oscar King already making a move on Macio De Jesus. As there we go, into turn number 11, as Oscar King will be in the race lead in absolutely no time, as it seems, and these guys might be under pressure to pit that little bit earlier, as that tyre offset is just becoming too much. As here they go, they are in the pit lane. There goes Luke Serra. Daniel Hope stays out an extra lap. Formulakai, Giovanni are all into the pit lane. And yeah, the hard runners all will have to come in now, as they're getting overtaken by the fresh hard runners already, and only 7 laps into their stint. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting final stint for the medium runners, but I think it looks a lot harder to climb up now, and I think maybe the race win is definitely off the cards, but it's now all about damage limitations. What's happened to Gabriel Amato?
He's just retired in the pit lane. I think he's given up here, as he's just struggling and struggling this entire race. I mean, unfortunate to see only one retirement in 17 laps. I mean, that's remarkable. I've seen races where half the grid was DNF'd in the matter of like 12 laps. So, love a change of scenery, but unfortunate to see Gabriel Amato retire from the race. Now, Alexander Kraft obviously started on pole. Really, probably wants to try get a move on Oscar King in the next few laps. But this top 4 has the likes of Oscar King, Molyneux, Tech2B, and Alexander Kraft. So, we're going to have to see quite a lot and quite nice fighting, I reckon.
Yeah, as Alexander Kraft is really close behind, as Molyneux and Hubi going side by side, it seems, into the penultimate corner of this Grand Prix circuit. Sliding through is Molyneux. Can he hold it round the outside? That is remarkable from Zahubi on the latter end of the grip. Zahubi still side by side. He's trying to creep ahead of Molyneux. This is the fight for P4, as Molyneux just has to let him go. Zahubi up to P4. What a move. Magnificent stuff from the FRT driver in the kick Sauber today. Up into the top 4. Zahubi, take a bow. That is picturesque at the final corner to keep it side by side, and clears him at turn number 1. Magnificent effort.
Yeah, absolutely. That is championship material right there. What a move. Holding it around the outside, using that sort of 1-lap tyre offset advantage, it was just sensational. I'm sort of taken away from that move. I didn't expect him to get it into 1 and 2 as well. I thought Molyneux would have the better wings, but no. Tech2B, well done. A round of applause. But that fighting has sort of allowed Ryan Jacobs to cut that gap in half. And now we've got not a 4-car fight, but an 8-car fight for the win. Well, 7, because Daniel Hope is obviously going to have to box in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's very close in that top pack, and it's going to allow the likes of Tom 97 to get back involved, Max Bellman to get back involved. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting fight, and now Silly Sly Guy is going to be in a really hard position with that penalty as well. Daniel Hope is in the pit lane though, and heading on to the mediums stints of the race. 10 laps to go, and yeah, he went for the tyre offset of a lifetime, and now he needs to try and gain that back and try and score some decent points in this race if he possibly can. But yeah, Daniel Hope needs some hope, and needs to put his foot down for the final 10 laps here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got 10 laps on mediums. He's got a 2-lap offset to everyone else that's boxed around him. So I think Daniel Hope could be ones to get maybe a top 7. I don't know if a win is on the cards for him, but maybe a top 7 could be. Now, Alexander Kraft, he's going to have the DRS on this back straight down towards the 9-10 chicane. So, will he get the move done, or will he just sit behind Oscar King? I think he's just going to sit behind. Yeah, just isn't close enough. Oscar King's really good at just maximizing this gap, He's able to get the right gap at the right time to hold the lead. And, I mean, it's remarkable stuff. His race pace is phenomenal. So, I mean, likes of Oscar King, could he win? Possibly. Really, really high chances he wins here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if Oscar King can keep it. Alexander Kraft is really, really close behind. I mean, it's anyone's game, and you never know if Alexander Kraft and Oscar King go side by side, have a bit of a scrap, and end up off the track. So Huber can definitely pick up the scraps. We've seen him making moves, and yeah, he's definitely got the bravery to try and make some daunting moves as well. So yeah, 9 laps to go in this race. After this one, so let's see if Oscar King can try and keep it for the remaining 9 laps as Galeotto on the medium compound tyre sets the fastest lap of the race so far, down in P13. So yeah, he's really trying to push on and gain back the time he lost, try and get into that top 10. But yeah, still Oscar King out front, but Alexander Kraft is a little bit closer as he hands to the back straight this time around. So let's see if he can try and make that move. He's lost a bit of time though on the exit, but Alexander Kraft in the slipstream, not going to be close enough down at turn number 9, turn number 10, but you never know, could be at turn number 11.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many opportunities here, which is surprising. I mean, a really high-speed track, yet we're seeing so many overtakes. I mean, this is what I love about F1 League Racing, is these drivers are not afraid whatsoever. They will send it in any single part of the track and pray to God it works. And, I mean, turn 12, the amount of moves we've seen there, you don't see that in real life, and that's why F1 League Racing is where it's at. It's action-packed, it's breathtaking, and Ryan Jacobs around the final corner. He's really, really close to Molly Moo. Will he be able to get the move done into turn 1? He's just not gaining anything. It's all sort of a stalemate in this top 5.
Yeah, it's really tricky. You've got to... I mean, that's why I think we've seen so many moves into peculiar places, because you have to. I mean, you don't really have an opportunity down at turn number 9, turn number 10, or turn number 11, because everyone's got the slipstream, and only if you're Alexander Kraft and Oscar King, you're a bit stuck, to be honest, and that's why we're seeing some fantastic moves, and it's good to see people going for it and making it work, and that's what I hope to see in the final few laps. But yeah, it's going to be really hard to make moves in conventional places. You've got to try and stand out in the corners. And yeah, Tahubi made it stick. Let's see if anyone else can try and do a bit of that action there.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Jacobs really on the back end of Molyneux there, getting a lot of dirt here on turn 10, so he's going to have to really back up and won't be able to threaten a move into turns 11, but you see, silly Sly Guy down the inside of Spezzy of turn 11, what a move, and this is going to allow Tom Knights to maybe have a look, but no, he sits back and relaxes, but what a move, down the inside. I mean, it's sensational, really late lunge, and he was able to get it stuck. Spezzy down to P7, and up towards the lead. It's still Oscar King leading, and Ryan Jacobs, you know, the only one really close to going for a move in this top 5. So surely we see a move in these next 7 laps from Ryan Jacobs.
Yeah, can really try and put his foot down, make that move. But Tom 97's in a good position as well. He's got back in the DRS, most importantly, to the top guys, and now he's only 3 tenths behind. He's got a 4-lap better tyre age than Spezzy ahead of him, and he can really try and push on. He's going to get the position on Silly Sly Guy, so it's a top 6 at the moment on course, but just needs to make the move now on Spezzy. He's going to get the exit here on the route down to turn number 9 and turn number 10. He's really, really close, so he's going to get an extra bit of toe the closer he is to the rear of that Mercedes. So here we go with Tom 97 then as we head down to turn number 9. He's pulled out the slipstream, he's got the DRS, and he's flying through into the left-right fast chicane, and Tom 97 into the top 7, and Silly Sly Guy up ahead with the penalty, so actually in the top 6 theoretically, and yeah, with the extra few tyre age, extra few tyre laps on there for Tom 97, he's looking good on grip, and let's see what the rest of his performance is going to be for the remainder of the 7 laps here. But yeah, nice move, and up into the theoretical top 6 now.
Yeah, I mean, massively. Tom 97 has the experience. I mean, think back to 2021. He's a race winner in Tier 1. So he's got the experience about racing all these fast guys. He knows what he's doing. So right now, P6 looking really good. Maybe even a top 5 with the pace he's showing. So Tom 97, keep going, fella. And I mean, Ryan Jacobs just really sitting behind Molly Moore's Formula Guy, gets that 3-second penalty. I'm surprised here. Not that many people have a penalty. I bet there's a few people on about 2 warnings, but I was expecting to see about half the grid with a 3 or 6 second time penalty. So it's quite nice seeing only 3 people have a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very precise grid, I've got to say. We've only got one retirement, and that was in the pit lane. In qualifying, it was wet to dry, and I was surprised in the opening few laps that no one retired, no one put it in the wall, no one had in the been very consistent in between the white lines, and yeah, not many penalties at all. So it's good to see a nice, clean, fair grid, which we've seen. And yeah, it really paints us for a really, really good season ahead of us. I've actually just seen, I think that's Spezia. Who is that going deep? I think it's Lucas Serra who went into the gravel there. Or was it Max Bellman? I think it might have been Max Bellman who's dropped the place on Lucas Serra as well. And that was at turn number 11. I think he just dropped it into the gravel. So yeah, he's now down in P10, but he is on 12 lap hold hards. Lucas Serra into the top 9 and is chasing on the medium compound tyres here. But the only thing is, what might hold him back, them tyres are going to start fading away in the next few laps.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a really good job of closing that gap. It was 7 seconds at one point. He's cut it down to 1.1. Well, I mean, he's within DRS now, but by the time he catches up to everyone, he's going to be about 12 back-end kick there out of turn 4. That could have been race-ending. Really good car control there from Lucas Herrera. But, I mean, he's rapid, but those tyres are really going to hinder his progress. As, I mean, already it's been proven that's hard to overtake. I mean, Ryan Jacobs has been sat behind Molyneux for the past, 7 laps, I would say. And he's not been able to get a move whatsoever. So, Lucas Herrera, yes, he's got that tyre offset, but will he be able to be confident enough to get the moves done?
Yeah, I think I've just seen him take another track limits violation as well. I saw it at turn number 6 and 7, which was potentially off the track. It was very close. And turn number 9 and turn number 10 is definitely cut the inside line, so you might want to just watch it for the final few laps in. Yeah, I think the tyres will start fading away and favour the hards ahead of him. He has closed to the back of Spezia, but he is still on 15 lap hold hard. So yeah, I think Lucas Serra will have his tyre age and tyre life overhauled on Spezia's car anyway. So yeah, see him closing there. But still, 4 laps to go in this race. Oh, Daniel Hope is in the pit, and I think he's retiring from the race. I was just thought he accidentally done that, but no. Daniel Hope, I'm guessing intentional. I think he came in a bit too late, and that's just yeah, it's went from bad to worse from in the race. I think the tyre age was just a bit too young. I think he left it out a bit too long, and the chance of points was really not on from that position to Daniel Hope. It's a shame to see him out of the race so early. And not finishing across the line, but yeah, let's hope he has a good rest of the season. And yeah, shame on the strategy, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just looking at some of these drivers like Tom 97, Sly Guy, and Ryan Jacobs going through 6, 7, 8. They're really, really cautious. They're not being as aggressive as they were sort of near the start of this race. It could be the tyres, but I think it's because they're on a high amount of warnings, maybe 1, maybe even 2. So taking it cautious, don't want to risk a penalty, especially when you've got someone in front of you where you can gain from. But Ryan Jacobs really, really close. Could this be the time where he can actually get a move done on Molyneux? I mean, it's possible he could get a good run out the final corner, but I just don't know. I mean, as much as I love Ryan Jacobs, I just don't think he's got the right setup on, as he's losing a lot on the straights. He gains a lot in corners, but he just can't back it up. So, you know, he's not focusing on the exits as much. I mean, look at the final corner, look at turn 2. He's getting gapped by Molyneux.
Yeah, he's definitely got the better pace, but he's obviously stuck behind us just on the straights. He's getting nowhere near. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky one for Ryan Jacobs. If he wants to make a move, you're going to have to do it in the final sector, it seems. Maybe at turn number 13. He's actually maybe under pressure from silly slide guys. He might have made a few mistakes in this first sector. And the man in P6 with that penalty is putting pressure on the Haas of Jacobs ahead of him. Let's see if he could try and make a move there. But obviously, with worse straight line speed, Jacobs could be really under pressure here as we go on the route down to turn number 9. I think he will just keep it ahead. But yeah, I mean, it could have been very close there. He needs to watch that out at the end of the first sector. But through the chicane there, he's actually lost a bit more time as here comes Silly Sly Guy. He's going to the inside line, down at turn number 11, heavy on the brakes. Silly Sly Guy makes that Red Bull fly through on Ryan Jacobs and gets up to P5 as Ryan Jacobs, few mistakes in that lap. And there we go. He's stuck behind as, yeah, he's actually maybe just trying to get back through as Silly Sly Guy, slight lock-up on the inside left, down at turn number 13. But yeah, a few mistakes there for Ryan Jacobs. Through goes Silly Sly Guy, up into the top 5. I mean, that's not where Ryan Jacobs wants to be.
No, not at all. Behind someone with a penalty. I mean, what a move, though, from Silly Slide Guy. Really, really late on the brakes into turn 11. Confident as hell. covered the switchback as well. I mean, it's sensational racing, and it's sort of textbook. But I mean, once you perfect it, like Silly Sly Guy, it's really, really easy to defend. Ryan Jacobs, though, really did try and go for that switchback. Almost had it done, just couldn't get the exit speed. And now he's got Tom97 in behind, and we could maybe even see a move, as I don't think Ryan Jacobs is going to gain much from the slipstream of Silly Sly Guy. So yeah, Tom97 is going to pass on by. He's going to say thank you very much and move up to that P6 spot.
Yeah, Tom97 does have 2 lap fresher tyres as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was organised for myself. It looked a bit organised letting him through. So yeah, Tom97 I think does have the better pace, better tyres, and probably in a better position to push on than Jacobs, who looks like he's slow in the straights and making a few mistakes as well in that first sector, which is not helping Tom97 catch the guys ahead. But now into P5 provisionally for Tom97. He's had a really strong race, to be honest, and on the strategy as well. I didn't think he'd make it work this well by staying out the few extra laps, but at the moment it's worked well for him. He's in this pack on the freshest tyres out of them all, and heading on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Let's have a little overview of the race. And Oscar King in the race lead still. I haven't really commentated on him much this race because he's just been out front since he took the lead from Alexander Kraft, and he's just been quite chilling out front. No real mistakes from himself. Alexander Kraft hasn't really got close enough to make any moves on him, and I think in the position he is, it's got to probably be a final lap shootout if he does push for the race win. Molyneux has maybe made a mistake because he's actually 1.8 back from Tahubi. So the top 3 are clear, and that will be the fight for the race win, and surely the podium fight, unless there's some sort of incident on that final lap. This is actually going to put Molyneux under pressure. There goes the Sly Guy up into P4, and obviously with the DRS, flies through, goes to Red Bull on the V-carb. Now Tom97, his eyes have opened as he sees that spot available. He could actually be in contention for the top 4, but needs to make a move on Molyneux as fast as he possibly can. And on the final lap as well, as Molyneux seems to be struggling with that rear end, and with 3 lap older tyres than Tom97, it could be interesting. But it's going to be the final lap of this race. Logan, take us away.
Oscar King leads us onto the final lap now, down towards turn 1 and turn 2. I don't think Alexander Kraft will be close enough for a move, but he's going to really need to prioritize his exit towards turn 3. He's going to have the DRS advantage, but obviously, and he has the tyre advantage as well. So in my eyes, Alexander Kraft has all the advantages for this race win. So all Oscar King needs to do is defend like his life depends on it. Tech2B has been knocked out of DRS, so it's a 2-way fight for this win. I think Tech2B is sort of set in stone for that P3 spot. Tom97 as well really needs to look for a move past Molyneux, as they are really, really close. So on this final, on this set, there's 2 straight. I mean, Tom97 could be looking like a P4, like he said at the start of this lap. Now, Oscar King just has to defend from Alexander Kraft. Tom97 does get the move done just before 9-10 chicane. Could maybe even possibly look at a move on Silly Slide Guy. It isn't needed, but it could be a contention thing. Now, sector 3, Alexander Kraft has 3 corners, well 2 now, and a straight, but I don't think he'll be able to do it despite having the DRS. It's all about this exit. Oscar King will lead the way. He's going to remain in the lead. It's going to be towards line, and I think it's going to go. Yeah, Oscar King wins the race. Alexander Kraft in P2, and Tech2B comes home in P3. Tom97 started P10 up to P4. Molyneux, really good race. Don't know where he started. Can't remember. He down 2 positions. He started P3. Ryan Jacobs up 2 positions. Silly Sly Guy started P5. Could have remained there, but unfortunately had a penalty and finishes P7. But Oscar King bowed down towards the king, you could say, as had a really good qualifying, had a sensational race pace, and just knew where to put his car to avoid Alexander Kraft going for a move. I mean, just well done. Well done to the reserve driver as well. Not even a main, not saying reserve drivers should be slower, but, I mean, coming in, filling in for David Martinez and doing glory in the Scuderia. He was definitely like a prancing horse. It was amazing to watch, and I mean, well-deserved win to Oscar King and Alexander Kraft. I mean, not a win, but a P2. Some people say it's the first of the losers. I say it's still a good position, and there's your podium 3. It's Alexander King, not Alexander King, oh my god, it's Oscar King, Alexander Kraft, and then Tech2B. And what a top 3, by the way. Tech Doobie was amazing in F7. Obviously, Oscar King, a renowned personnel in the F1 League area. And Alexander Kraft had an amazing race. I mean, what a way to start the season here in PCF 5.
Yeah, absolutely. A statement of intent has been written by Oscar King. What a start to the season for himself. So got to look at the other drivers as well out there that are full time. But yeah, fantastic job there. Absolutely dominant out front in today's race. Croft takes P2, grab pole position in the wet to dry qualifying. Hubi takes P3 from P4. Top 97, really strong performance from himself. And from P10 up to P4, a mega opening start to the season here in PCF 5 for Tom 97. He just made that strategy work with the extra few laps on the medium compound tyres to open up that stint. Molyneux takes P5, Ryan Jacobs in P6. So this Sly Guy takes P7 with that 3-second time penalty. Is actually a good result. Then it's Spezzi in P8, Lucas Serra in P9, and it's Giovanni Galliotto who takes the final top 10 position. But there we go. That is round 1 over. It was a very interesting one. It was a bit spicy one. We saw, I think, to be honest, overall, that's a very clean grid right there. And it's a grid isn't afraid to get their elbows out. And it was a very strong opening start to the season. I feel like it's going to be a fantastic one alongside yourself.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I can't wait for the rest of the season. I mean, I think what we should do is take a look at the calendar, because we've got a quite nice calendar for this season. We have Belgium up next, followed by Texas. So that round 2 and round 3, very spicy, sort of similar to Australia in the fact that they're both very technical not corners, but tracks, and really depends on the driver. Belgium's going to be very interesting. I mean, just think back to last season. We had it as round 3. It was a sensational race for all the tiers, and Belgium can be a very good race with the conditions. Texas as well, very hard on the tyres, so it's all about how well you can, not overdrive the car. Then we have a break week, and then we come back from Monaco, Austria, Canada, the home of racing Britain, and then Mexico, and then we have another break. That sort of 4-race stretch or 5-race stretch is very amazing. Again, technical tracks. Monaco could be a bit of a sleeper, but I mean, I commentated a league race about a few weeks ago, and it was sensational. There was overtaking left, right, and centre. The qualifying was amazing. So Monaco, I actually have high hopes for. Especially seeing this Australia, the amount of people going for moves in places where you don't expect it. Monaco could be an amazing track. And then obviously we have Jeddah, Brazil, and Yas Marina Circuit, Abu Dhabi to finish off. I mean, if we have a title fight, Abu Dhabi's going to be 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really one. I think it's one we need to look forward to. Austria as well. I think I want to watch Austria with this grid because obviously Austria, I think for commentators as a whole, on this game especially where it is quite tricky to overtake, and it's been a bit of a struggle for track action. I think Austria could be a fantastic race to see some fantastic moves. So yeah, overall, really strong calendar. It's a bit different, and that's what we like to see. Abu Dhabi, I think it's going to go down to the wire, and I think it's going to be an absolute thriller from here to the final round. But I mean, after that opening race, there's a lot of different strategies there, and I mean, pace-wise, I think it might change track on track, of course. So, yeah, you never know what's going to happen next week, but it could be a really strong season overall, and it's been a really strong opener in Melbourne, that's for certain. Yeah,
and I mean, what good way to start the season off then, start at Melbourne and have that good of a race. Only 2 retirements, both in the pits, and both of them, it wasn't like there was massive collisions. I think there was only one area where I saw front wing damage, and that was on lap 1. Everything else was clean. There was no, intentional riding off track. There was no really weird moves. There was a few lunges, but they were clean. I mean, I'm just thinking back to Silly Sly Guy's one with Ryan Jacobs. That was one hell of a move. And it just shows how good these drivers are and how good of a season this will come to be. I think we're ready to round it off here. So thank you for joining us in PCF5. We hope to see you back next week at 7 PM for, what was round 2 again? Belgium. That's what it was. I mixed up with Texas. But we hope to see you. We hope to see you back there. Obviously, mark that on your calendar. 7 PM on a Thursday. Very lovely. And I'm Logan Edward. You got to say your
Hi,
name.
Mr. Alex Bagnall.
And thank you
I
for
was cut off there.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us in PCF5. We'll see you next week. I just hit a can, and goodbye.
See you later, guys.